Welcome to another episode of Ladder Decks, where we discuss all manner of Hearthstone decks being played on ladder. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Pirate Warrior. It's a very fast, efficient, cheap deck that will rank you up very quickly, and I'm super excited about it. So let's get started. So before we get into the deck, let's talk about some of the cards that Warrior lost coming into Whispers of the Old Gods. First off, we have Shield Maiden, which isn't really that big a deal. It's whatever. But really the most important card they lost is Deathspite. Deathspite was probably one of the best weapons in the game next to Fiery War Axe. I don't know, maybe a toss up there, but it's gone, and a lot of people were very concerned that Warrior was not going to be viable outside of the control archetype. However, I think Warrior has surprised everyone in that there are a lot of different warrior archetypes right now, and Pirate Warrior is one of them, thankfully. I think it's really cool. I'd actually made a tempo Pirate Warrior deck right after Whispers came out, and it had marginal success, but nothing too great. So here's the deck list. This is a Nostum's deck list from the spring preliminary tournament, in which he unfortunately did not make it to the championships. He made it really far, but he fell down in the finals with a druid deck he had. But this deck, as far as I'm aware, he didn't lose a single match with. So let's talk about the new cards that are in this deck. First up, we have N'Zoth's First Mate. Now, when I first saw this card, I was totally ecstatic about it, honestly, but not for Constructed. I didn't really see it in Constructed at all, to be honest. I saw the arena value in this card, and it's a great card in arena. So if you're playing arena with Warrior, pick as many of these as you can, because they're just amazing. I mean, it's a 1/1 for 1, and you equip a 1/3 Rusty Hook weapon. Like, that's a lot of tempo for turn 1, and that's amazing. And this card is one of the reasons why this deck is so fast and efficient. So let's move on, and it's a pirate, so that's important as well. Let's move on to the next card, Bloodsail Cultist. So as you can see, it's a pirate, a 3 mana, 3/4, and it has battle cry of, if you control a pirate, give your weapon +1/+1. So you can already see sort of the ridiculous things that this deck can do. I mean, turn 1, N'Zoth's First Mate. Turn 2, if you have the coin, and N'Zoth's First Mate doesn't die, you just coin out Bloodsail Cultist. You automatically have a 2/4 weapon, a 1/1, and a 3/4 on the board. Like, you just win the game. More often than not, you just win the game right there. So, there's not much else to say about it. There's just amazing synergies with these cards, and it's fast and efficient, and it's great. And a 3 mana, 3/4, I mean, that's just a solid body, you know? That's a spider tank, right? Plus it has the pirate tag, so all the better. That's basically it for the new cards in this deck, but those 2 cards alone really push this deck into a viable, fast, efficient killing machine. Some notable cards I'd like to talk about that, you know, haven't really seen too much play are from Classic set, and that's one is Upgrade, which is a 1-cost spell that says if you have a weapon, give it +1/+1. Otherwise, equip a 1/3 weapon. You know, you use this to buff the weapons you have, use it to make a weapon, and then buff it with other stuff. It's cool to see this card actually see some play. Another card that doesn't really see play, but is a pretty solid card in this deck, is Mortal Strike, which is 4 mana spell that says deal 4 damage. That's to any target. If you have 12 or less health, deal 6 instead. So basically it's a conditional fireball, which is typically too underwhelming and slow to play in most decks. However, in this deck, since you're taking a lot of damage early on in the game by trading into their minions with your weapons, it serves as a burst damage card towards the late game that can close the game out for you easily and be kind of a surprise that they don't account for. And most people forget about this card and its condition, and while they're trying to race you down, they will put you right at 12 or less just so you can play this card and get the 6 damage off. Alright, well, let's look at the cost of this deck. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot going on with it in terms of, there's no epics, there's a bunch of commons, there's a bunch of base cards, and a few rares and 2 legendaries, one of which you can't even craft. You have to get from the Adventure set, which, you either just buy outright, or if you're using gold, it's about 2,100 gold because he's in the 3rd wing. Sort of minus Sir Finley, this deck costs 2,880 dust. And that's with Leroy. That's pretty cheap for a deck, like, at the end of the day. And really, Leroy is not a bad card to craft, at this point anyway. He's being played in a lot of different decks. He's in the classic set, so he's always going to be around, always going to be allowed in standard. So he's not a bad option to craft. Now, I'm not saying you absolutely need him. I'm not saying that at all. You can substitute Leroy Jenkins for a base card and Reckless Rocketeer. Everybody's got that card. It's not as good. 1 more mana, 1 less damage, but it serves the same purpose. It's charged out burst damage. And with the Reckless Rocketeer build, this deck only costs 1,280 dust, which is super cheap, especially for as ridiculously efficient and good as this deck is. All right, so I'm going to talk about the deck and how it works and how it plays, and basically the conclusion I'm going to come to is that if you're looking to move up the ladder quickly, you're on a free-to-play account and you want a deck to do that with, this is your deck, okay? I highly recommend just crafting this deck and playing the shit out of it because it's amazing. Mulligan stage, you're gonna hard mulligan for N'Zoth's First Mate, Fiery War Axe, and like Sir Finley, okay, if you have Sir Finley. If you have the coin and you get a Bloodsail Cultist, you can keep the Bloodsail Cultist and mulligan everything else for a Fiery War Axe still, and like a N'Zoth's First Mate still. Maybe try to get an upgrade in there as well. And so with the coin, you're looking to do that combo I talked about. Turn 1 N'Zoth's First Mate, and then coin out the Bloodsail Cultist turn 2. Moving on to play, since that's sort of the mulligan stage, like that's super easy mulligan stage, right? Don't worry about the old adage of only use your weapon to hit minions. You hit face with your weapon in this deck a lot, okay? So even if you have Fiery War Axe and N'Zoth's First Mate in your opening hand, play N'Zoth's First Mate, get the weapon, hit the face, right? For 1 damage, whatever. And then turn 2, if you don't have coin, just put the Fiery War Axe on. It's okay to overwrite the other weapon. It's not that big a deal. Like I said earlier, in the early game, keep your minions alive as much as possible, so it is okay to hit some of their minions and forego some damage to their face with your weapons, just to keep your minions alive and dealing more damage over time, right? So to that end, it's okay to hit minions with your weapon in the early game. Now, at some point, you're just gonna start going face with your weapons as well, and usually that's around turn 4 and 5. So it's actually it's super early. It's like mid game, but basically for this game or for this deck, that's late game. There's a lot of combos in this deck. Basically, you've got the Bloodsail Raider. You want to play that and get some value out of the battle cry of that card. Sort of a weird inclusion in this deck that I didn't mention earlier, that I should have mentioned, is a Fairy Dragon, which is sort of unique to Nostum's list, and I like it a lot because it's a 3/2 body for 2 mana. They can't target it with spells or hero power, so they can't ping it with a hero power, and they can't target it with a spell. So it's kind of difficult to remove. They've got to play like something with battle cry that would remove it, or run a minion into it, or run a weapon into it. It's kind of a sticky minion in that way, and hard to deal with minion, so I like it. Plus, if they're paying attention, they might think, if you play it on turn 2, you're playing like a tempo Dragon Warrior, and might throw them off a little bit, but probably not that much, but it's still interesting. So other sort of combos, or just things in the deck, Dread Corsair, obviously you want to try and get as much value out of that and play him for as cheap as possible, which you easily can play him for free in this deck, which is huge tempo. The Frothing Berserker is sort of a diversion card in that if it's left unchecked, it can get huge and out of control and really destroy your opponent. So he's going to be looking to get rid of that as fast as possible, which means he's going to do inefficient things and waste probably more than 1 resource on getting rid of it, which is fine. Then we have Argent Horse Riders to do, burst damage, as well as just be a sort of irritating minion that they've got to pop the Divine Shield on, or it can run into a taunt and still live. We have Heroic Strike for more burst damage possibilities. as well as South Sea Deckhand for some more burst. We've got the Korkrons for burst damage, Arcanite Reapers just for big ass weapons, and then of course we've got the finishing. It's a super simple deck, but it can be played so many different ways, and there's a lot of combos in it, but it's really fast. Like basically by turn 7 the game's over most of the time. If you go too much longer than that, you're probably gonna lose unless they're really close to dying, and then you're just top decking, and you'll eventually get there. You just gotta hang on. I mean, that's basically how it plays out. If you play Sir Finley, right, you can play Sir Finley anytime and it's fine. What you're looking for out of Sir Finley is, in this order, you want Life Tap, Steady Shot, Fire Blast, or Shapeshift. Those are like the top 4 you're looking to get. After that, the Shaman hero power isn't that bad. I'd probably pick the Shaman, and then the Paladin, and then the Rogue, and then like the heal is probably the worst one, besides your hero power you already have. So yeah, that's what you're looking for. Like Finley's just great. He can really help you close out the game, you know, even late game. If like you're looking for those last point or two of damage, you know, you play Sir Finley, you get Steady Shot and close out the game. So I made this deck to see how it would do on my main account, and I played it and I liked it, and it was pretty good. I didn't play too much of it, and it did marginally well at the time I was playing it, but I really didn't get excited about it until I decided to make it on my free-to-play account that I have. And I had about half the cards. I had just gotten Sir Finley. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this deck because I had a bunch of Warrior Quest and I wanted to get the gold from that. And I knew this could do a decent job of winning some games. So I spent close to 1,000 dust, disenchanted a bunch of stuff, and made this deck. On my free-to-play account, I don't have Leroy Jenkins, I have Reckless Rocketeer. So that's the only difference between the two decks. And from about rank 12, I started playing this deck, and I went from 12 to almost 7 in like no time at all. Like just today I was playing, and in like 40 minutes, I went from rank 10 to almost rank 7. It was ridiculous. I lost one game in that whole time. And for such a cheap deck, like that's my main point of it. Like if you wanna ladder up quickly, this is the deck for you. It's relatively easy to play. I mean, there's one strategy basically, and that's go face, right? Obviously there's some thinking and some trades that you have to make, but most of the other decks just can't respond fast enough. Even other aggressive decks like Face Shaman and Face Hunter decks, they just don't typically win against this deck, because once they know what you're trying to do, it's already too late. They're trying to play catch up, and you know they're taking out your minions with their weapons and things, but it's still dealing damage to their face, which you want. So I highly recommend this deck for anybody who is like on a free-to-play account, or just doesn't put a lot of money into the game but wants to play ladder and rank up fast. So like I said, you can sub some cards out like Leroy and Sir Finley. Leroy, just use Reckless Rocketeer. For Sir Finley, you can use, you know, other cards you have that you might think synergize well with the deck, or just stuff that's gonna go face. Like even just a Wolf Rider is probably okay for some more burst damage. Yeah, that's the deck. I've got some videos of gameplay. There's a couple videos of this deck with Leroy, and then a couple videos with the Reckless Rocketeer version, just so you can see that it just works. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you learned some stuff from the gameplay vids. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Garrosh versus Garrosh. Victory or death! Bring it on!
This is really good with the coin, but we'll keep it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Not great. Shut that guy up before he starts talking. Let's go ahead and get this out. Yep. Get the card draw. Card draw engine. Okay. Alright, I see how this is gonna be. Be one of these games, huh? Might have ourselves a little mirror match here. So I'm thinking
Blood and plunder.
it's pretty good. I can get rid of it with a heroic strike though, but man, I really wish I had a weapon. Okay, so you're gonna hit that for 4? That's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Hmm.
I wonder.
N'Zoth wouldn't be bad. N'Zoth's first mate into Bloodsail Cultist this turn. Would be okay.
Try this.
Damn. Really sucks, man. My hand is really not good. It's really fucking annoying. Fuck it. Just put it out there. He hits into it, he hits into it, right? Still damage. I can Arcanite and Dread Corsair next turn.
I wonder.
Yeah, that Dread Corsair is not going to be living very long though.
Blood.
But that's okay. Long enough, right? I mean, got 9 damage. If I can get a South Sea Deckhand, I win. If I can get a Core Crown, I win. If I got Leroy, I win. There's a lot of cards I can win with here if he doesn't armor up. Even if he armors up, not too bad. Limits my options, but still not too bad. So Korkron would still win me the game. Okay, maybe not now. Fuck. Fucking kidding me right now? Okay, I still win the game, right? Yeah.
Well played.
Yep. Boom. That's why I gotta be careful. Bringing me down to 12 or below 12. 12 or below.
Garrosh versus Valera. Watch your back.
Victory or death!
Okay, I can keep one of those now, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do it though. Science. Okay. That's something. That is something. So, coin out the War Axe. Yeah, okay, coin out the War Axe. Play Blood Sail into Cultist. Blood Sail's gonna die though. It's almost guaranteed. There's almost no way it doesn't happen. Could upgrade and Finley. That might not be terrible either.
What now?
Maybe I do that instead.
Who's up for an adventure?
Do I steady shot? It's 2 guaranteed damage every turn, or do I fire blast? Which is more maneuverable, flexible.
I wonder.
Let's just go pure aggression. We'll go steady shot, fuck it. I think they get the message now. I think they know where this is going. So I'd rather them waste a backstab on that thing than on my Blood Cell Raider.
So many options.
Cthulhu! Cthulhu!
Interesting.
Cthulhu!
So we have a Cthulhu Rogue. Nice.
Blood and plunder.
Very nice. It's a big fucking weapon. I like it. Cool thing about this deck is it's not very expensive. Hey man, that plays into my game. Called You Losing Health. You Losing Health is the game I'm playing. Another upgrade, holy shit. Yeah. That's a big fucking Blood Sail Raider. That's a big goddamn weapon.
I give up.
GG. God damn. Sick. This deck shouldn't be that much to make. I mean, I did have to craft, like, I did have to dust a bunch of stuff and,
Bring it on!
like 1,000 dust worth of stuff to, because I only had like barely half the deck, but I managed to scrape it up. I guess the hardest thing might be Sir Finley, which is not an absolute necessity in the deck, but no. We're looking for like N'Zoth, we're looking for Finley, we're looking for Fiery War Axe, upgrade, and this hand kind of sucks. I don't want Arcanite Reaper in my starting hand, but we'll see.
Fly, party!
Okay, looks like a mirror match. This will be interesting. Could play upgrade now. This would be a 3/3 if I played it next turn.
What now?
Upgrade and trade. Or do I coin out a horse rider next turn? I don't know, that doesn't seem to be that good of a play. Let's do this. Trying to get, you know, just stuff on the board and whatever. To stick and do damage, get weapons in my hands. Alright. Fortunately, he went first, so he has initiative, but I think I'm gonna have to do some more trading in this game than I want to usually with this deck.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
He's way ahead, honestly, though. He is way ahead. He's already got me down by 6 damage. That's not bad. Basically did nothing that turn, unless he plays another N'Zoth. Okay. That's fine. That is fine. So, I could play off curve and play the Blood Sail. I'm thinking just play Argent Horse Rider on curve. We'll play Kor'kron next turn.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here. Giddy up!
We'll not worry about the Blood Sail Raider just yet. It'd be nice to put it behind a Dread Corsair anyway. Or maybe combo it with the Blood Sail Cultist on turn 5 or something. So yeah, still gonna do this. Just still the play.
Blood and plunder.
Okay. Okay, so that doesn't change. This doesn't change, because it's not attacking my weapon. So it'd still just be a 3/3. Well, I need to get it out of my way. I think we just do this anyway. Because next turn, I mean, I've got 9 damage with this, right? And then if he hits my face again, I'll have another 6 damage with this. Plus all the damage I got there. Plus 12. I mean, that's more than enough to kill him, right? How much does he have? Not enough. Yeah. GG.
Well played.
You done fucked up, brah. You done fucked up. I mean, seriously, for how cheap this deck is to make, like, you can get really far with it.
Versus Anduin.
I was against a priest who had all the right answers at the right time.
Victory.
Victory or death!
But, I mean, I still won. I'm 5-3 with the other deck, which is just, like I said, the only difference is Leroy Jenkins. But I am playing at higher ranked levels too, so there's better players overall. At least you hope. Might keep one of these. Since it can't be targeted. I mean, that's the only reason the fairy dragons are even in here, is because they can't be targeted by spells, right? Or hero powers. This is interesting. So I'd probably just coin out the war axe. And then I could play Deckhand and Finley next turn. Or I could just play the Fairy Dragon.
What now?
Turn 3 looks like an Argent Horse Rider turn unless something else comes along. I've got options, but I definitely think I'd still just coin out the War Axe. I mean, it could get upgrade too. I gotta get rid of that shit. Can't let Priest have things. Priest keeps things and then bad things happen, so... Fuck them. They can't have things. Now you're supposed to heal me. I'm the one that needs the healing. Okay, so do we develop the Fairy Dragon? Or do we develop the South Sea Deckhand and Sir Finley?
I wonder.
I actually think this plays better, because on 4 I could do both of these if I wanted to, so... Let's do this.
Who's up for an adventure?
Shapeshift or Steady Shot? I mean, Shapeshift could be... Shapeshift's more versatile. We'll go with Shapeshift. We'll hold back the weapon for now. It doesn't do a whole lot at the moment, especially with Priest. But, I mean, he's playing a,
Leave me alone.
you know, different Priest. Okay. So I think we still Argent Horse Rider.
Don't worry,
But we're gonna
Ruffs,
trade
the
into that.
cavalry's here.
Most of the time you don't want to trade with this deck, but like when it makes sense to, I think you should.
My echoes are eternal.
Okay, so could just Korkron. Could also Fairy Dragon and Heroic Strike. See, this way I push 6, 7, 8, 9 damage this turn. The other way, if I Heroic Strike, I'm trading. I can just Korkron.
But of course.
Keeps curve, right? And it pushes damage, and that's what we're trying to do, is push damage. I mean, he could do some dumb shit, like Excavated Evil and shit, but... it's less likely that he's going to, since he's got his own minion out. That's fine, that trade's straight up, I don't care. Okay, so... that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. That would put him at 3. He could heal for 5, but he's probably... he's playing Dragon Priest, though. He might not be playing Flash Heal. Do we put him at 3? Or do we Heroic Strike, trade, and play Frothing? Do we want to be greedy? Or do we want to play it a little safe?
I wonder.
This is hard.
I must choose.
Let's play a little safe.
The blade be thirsty.
Unfortunately, he can pain this, but I guess it doesn't matter, really. So this turn we can get 5 damage off our hero. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That sucks, dick. I'm glad we kept this back, though. I am glad we kept that back. Okay. we sack Finley? I think we sack Finley. We need shit that pushes damage, and Finley doesn't push damage. So he's dead to the board. I mean, obviously, he's gonna do something that keeps him from dying to the board. That's pretty good something. Pretty good something. Fuck. Damn. Okay. So we chance it.
What now?
That he doesn't have a dragon in his hand. And we hit face with it. As well as trade some shit in. Okay, so we lost that. No big deal.
The cavalry's here. Giddy up!
Do we play it? Yeah.
Are you mocking me?
Well, I didn't do much for him. Fuck though. Alright, well, I'll do that.
Thirsty. Giddy up!
Need to keep pushing that damage. Need to keep threatening lethal until I get something that can actually deal lethal. Arcanite Reaper and I win. Alright. No, fuck. Arcanite Reaper and I don't win. Damn it, Mortal Strike. If I was only a little bit lower in health. Oh well, it's okay. We really need one of our fucking... We need something. We need something here. There's a lot of things that can help, but we need something. That does it, doesn't it? That's 9.
Well played.
Bam. That's what we needed.